How's it going, people? It's Close to Tie Dragon here, giving you my next Let's Play series, or should I say, Let's Click. I just made that up. Uh, Broken Sword. Ever since I finished the Pajama Sam and Putt Putt series, I've still been on a point and click adventure kind of mood. So I figured I'd do Broken Sword. My dad loves this series, and I think they're pretty awesome. I'm not that great at point and clicks though, so I'm probably gonna be using the hint system pretty often. So if you're trying to watch this to see how far I can get without using the hint system, I'm not gonna make it pretty far. But let's at least enjoy the story together, I can say. So anyway, let's get started.
Paris, city of love, romance, and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death.
Woof. Nice art. This is definitely interesting.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe.
Oh,
He
shit.
and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Uh-oh.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation. Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty. You're too kind, madame.
Oh, shit.
Ah, the talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame.
Ooh.
That was no cat.
God, what?
Monsieur Cachon!
What? Got decked.
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Okay. Move the mouse pointer around the screen to discover areas of interest, which will be indicated by an animating blue circle. When the pointer passes over an object with which you can interact, it will change to an animating icon reflecting the available action. Press the left mouse button to perform that action. Click on the briefcase for your inventory, diary to access diary, question mark to get puzzle hints, that's going to be a helper, and spinner icon to save and restore game and adjust settings. Alright, cool. So first, let's save the game. Yeah, that was my first file when I beat the game. So, new beginning. Thank you. Next thing I want is there a, no, there's no subtitles kind of thing. Okay, cool. Alright. One thing I like about this point-and-click game is that, yeah, when you get near to items and you see the blue thing like that, it really, really helps you out. Like, it's so helpful. Cause some older point-and-clicks, like the one that I also like called Runaway, the oldest one, you have to just click around randomly. You can't find shit. It makes it so annoyingly hard to find stuff. Let's see.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions.
Okay.
A bust of Pierre Cauchon, humble servant of La France.
Okay. Let's take a look at the window here. Booyah.
A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job. This was the work of the mime. Unless the cat was in on it too.
True.
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
So now we know how he escaped. Let's take a look at the victim here.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him.
There's something right here.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
Not done when you were knocked out.
Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
But what's this?
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now. Cauchon had been shot.
Okay. Anything else we can check here? Oh.
I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
Okay, good. That's nice we can do that. I think that's it.
I opened his eyes. Best to leave the crime scene as I found it.
Oh, you can redo it.
I closed his eyes.
Yeah, now we can close the eyes. We already tampered with the crime scene. Ain't no going back. Like I said, ain't no going back now. To use an inventory item on the background object, click on that item and hold the mouse button. I'll continue to hold the mouse button and drag the item. Okay, cool.
It was a boat ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. When I was a little girl, Papa used to take me on the Bateau Mouche as a treat.
Cool. Alright. think we got everything we can here, so let us go.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them. A Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. Imelda had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy.
Good point. What is this? This looks important.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Floop. And hello.
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
But a clip might. Booyah.
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff.
Nice.
Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
It's not like she cares anyway, so fuck her. Alright, there's something over here too.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine.
Yoink.
Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Thanks. I will. Alright, I think we did everything, so let's just talk to her.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
Alright, let's chat.
I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Coulard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
And now the mime.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Ooh, this be nice though.
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Nice. That's like you're very nice to her.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
I promise you won't regret this.
Good. Alright, cool. Let's move on. Sorry for all the sniffling. Okay, so... This, we gotta use the key right here. Bam.
Now we were getting somewhere.
Alrighty. So I guess there's this room.
I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already.
Okay, what's this picture?
The painting showed the Cachons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
What's up with this knob
There
here?
was the very faintest of clicks.
Alright, so I definitely did something. Let's see. Let's go look at here.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
Let's see something over here.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision.
That's interesting.
I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it. The in tray, like everything else in this place, was beautiful. One day I was going to have an in tray like that, even if I had to sell my apartment to pay for it.
The in tray, she doesn't want to use it, but she knows it's important.
My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Cauchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
Yoink. So that's something with this.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank.
I wonder something then. So let's try maybe the cloth.
No.
No, not the cloth. Tube?
The paint would have just soaked into the blotting paper. But the idea was good.
So I'm getting somewhere.
The cloth was embroidered with an unusual symbol.
Do we combine it or something?
No.
No. Okay. This?
I smeared the paint all
Oh.
over the cloth. When I do messy, I really like to put my heart into it. I
Okay.
hope this was going to help. They
And-
don't make lace like that anymore.
And then this?
Rubbing the cloth over the blotting paper would make it all blue. I needed to come up with something slightly cleverer.
Huh.
No. No. The cloth would get paint on the tray, but not enough for what I needed. I didn't need a sheet of...
I guess we gotta find something else. I feel like we must be missing something.
Locked. Not surprising, really.
Just key open it.
It didn't work, but I
Okay.
guess it would have been surprising if it had.
I guess. Let's see. Let's check that painting again. She says she heard the faintest of clicks. Ah, that's why.
Behind the picture was a safe.
Could be this. Booyah! Nice.
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I
Okay.
needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Cauchon was past caring.
Okay. Now I got it. So that's it. I skipped ahead by accident. So I remember that you had to use something. You had to use something to roll on it. So now we got it. So now you're supposed to wrap it into this thing.
I wiped the paint-covered cloth over the surface of the stone cylinder. It took me right back to art class at school. And Maurice, my gorgeous art teacher. Such a shame they had to fire him. Ah well, Concentrate, Nico, concentrate.
And now I put that over here.
Genius. The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say? It was some kind of coded message. It read, subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense.
SDSS. Okay.
I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law codes. So, subjudice could, in this case, mean literally under the law codes, below the conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
Cool. So I guess you're done with the first part. Alright, that's awesome. We did good. We did good. Alright, so now I guess we can talk to her and learn that we're leaving. Let's talk to her.
Did you find anything useful?
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it was important to him. Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
subjudice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
Alright.